You're at the most expensive wedding of the year when suddenly, security tackles a young woman stealing food from the buffet. But what happens next will completely blow your mind and change how you think about family, money, and second chances forever. This isn't just another feel-good story. This is about a moment that destroyed one life and created something beautiful from the ashes. So stick around because the twist in this tale will leave you speechless. Let me paint the scene for you. It's a gorgeous evening, and we're talking about a wedding that probably cost more than most people's houses. 200 of the city's elite are dressed to the nines, sipping champagne that costs more per bottle than minimum wage workers make in a week. Crystal chandeliers, silk tablecloths, and enough flowers to stock a garden center. But here's where it gets interesting. A young woman slips through the shadows near the food tables. Her name is Maya, and she's got that look in her eyes, not desperation, but pure determination. She's wearing clothes that have seen better days, probably better years if we're being honest. Her jeans are torn, not fashionably, but from actual wear. Her shirt has stains that tell stories of survival. Maya reaches for a plate and starts loading it with rice, chicken, anything she can grab quickly. She's not being greedy, just taking what she needs. But luxury weddings have security, and security has one job. A massive hand clamps down on her wrist like a steel trap. The security guard is built like a linebacker and has about as much sympathy as a brick wall. Maya doesn't scream, doesn't beg, doesn't even wince. This girl has been through things that would break most of us. The entire reception freezes. Imagine that moment when the music stops at a party and everyone turns to stare. 200 pairs of eyes, all focused on this skinny girl holding a plate of food like it's evidence of the crime of the century. Thief. Someone shouts from the crowd. Get her out of here, yells another. Call the cops. And just like that, the mob mentality kicks in. These people, who probably throw away more food in a day than Maya sees in a week, are ready to destroy her over some leftovers. But then something incredible happens. A voice cuts through all the chaos like a sword through silk. Stop. Just one word, but it carries the weight of absolute authority. Everyone turns toward the voice, and there he is, the groom himself, walking toward them in his perfect designer tuxedo. This is David, and today was supposed to be the pinnacle of his charmed life. Rich family, successful business, beautiful bride, and a future that most people only dream about. But something in David's expression isn't right. There's confusion there, maybe recognition, definitely something deeper than anger about wedding. Crashers, let her go, David tells the security guard. The guard looks baffled. Sir, she was stealing from your reception. David steps closer to Maya, and this is where the story takes a turn that nobody could have predicted. He stares at her face, not at her clothes or her circumstances, but really looks at her, and whatever he sees there makes his world tilt on its axis. What's your name? He asks, and his voice has gone soft, almost tender. Maya lifts her chin. She's not ashamed of taking food to survive. Maya. The name hits David like a physical blow. He repeats it slowly, like he's testing how it feels on his tongue. Maya, ... And then he asks the question that changes everything. How old are you? 25. Now his bride appears, pushing through the crowd in her $1,000 dress. This is Victoria, and she is not happy about her perfect day being interrupted by what she sees as street trash. David, what are you doing? It's our wedding day. Make her leave. But David can't look away from Maya. Where are you from? He asks. Maya could tell him it's none of his business, but something about this man feels familiar in a way that makes her chest tight. Does it matter? Yes, David whispers, and his voice is shaking now. It matters more than anything. An elderly woman steps forward from the crowd. This is David's grandmother, Mrs. Richardson, and she's got that look that grandmothers get when they sense trouble brewing. David, honey, maybe we should handle this privately. But David's past all pretense now. His voice gets louder, more urgent. Maya, do you remember anything from before you were on the streets? Maya's heart starts racing. Why is this stranger asking about her childhood? I lived in an orphanage. My parents died in a car accident when I was 7. Why are you asking me this? Victoria grabs David's arm, her perfect manicure digging into his sleeve. David, you're scaring everyone. What's wrong with you? David pulls away from his bride like she's on fire. He moves closer to Maya, close enough that she can see tears forming in his eyes. Show me your left shoulder, he says. What? Maya backs away. Please, just ... please. Something in his voice, some quality of desperate hope, makes her listen. Slowly, Maya pulls down her shirt collar. On her left shoulder is a small scar shaped like a crescent moon. David's legs give out. He literally stumbles backward, one hand pressed to his chest like he's having a heart attack. "Oh my God," he whispers. "Oh my God, it's really you." Victoria screams. "David, what is happening?" Mrs. Richardson moves closer, her elderly hands trembling. "David, no, it can't be." "It is," David says, tears streaming down his face now. "Grandmother, look at her, really look." The old woman studies Maya's face, her dark eyes, the defiant way she stands, even when the whole world seems against her. The scar that looks exactly like another scar she remembers from long ago. "Impossible," Mrs. Richardson breathes. "Will someone please explain what's going on?" Maya demands, but her voice is shaking too because something deep in her memory is stirring to life. David turns to face all his wedding guests. When he speaks, his voice carries to every corner of that tent. "Everyone, I need to tell you something. This wedding is over." Victoria shrieks. "What?" "Because," David says, looking directly at Maya, "this woman is my sister." The tent explodes. People are gasping, shouting. Some are pulling out phones to record the drama. Victoria starts sobbing, but Maya just stands there frozen in shock. "That's impossible," she says. "My brother died in the same crash as my parents. They told me he died." Mrs. Richardson's voice comes out as barely a whisper. "No, child. David, you were told your sister died, and Maya, you were told your brother died. But you were both lied to." David steps closer to Maya, his voice thick with emotion. "I remember you. We used to build blanket forts in the living room. You had a stuffed rabbit named Buttons, and that scar on your shoulder, you got it when you fell out of the apple tree trying to follow me and my friends." Maya's hand flies to her shoulder. Her mind is spinning because she does remember a stuffed rabbit. She remembers a boy who looked like her, who always tried to protect her from their parents' arguments. "But how?" she whispers. Mrs. Richardson's voice is heavy with decades of guilt. "After the accident, you were both critically injured. David was taken to one hospital, Maya to another. The records got mixed up somehow. Each of you was told the other had died. David came to live with me. Maya. She looks at the young woman with such pain in her eyes. "Maya went to the state orphanage, you mean?" Maya says slowly. "For 18 years, we both thought the other was dead." "Yes," David says, his voice breaking completely. "I grieved for it, every single day, every birthday, every Christmas, every time I saw a little girl with dark hair, I thought about my baby sister who would never grow up." Victoria is still crying, but now she looks angry too. "This is insane. You can't just cancel our wedding because some homeless person looks like someone from your past." But David isn't listening to Victoria anymore. He's looking at his sister, his little sister who's been surviving on the streets while he lived in a mansion, his little sister who had to steal food while he ate at 5-star restaurants. "I'm so sorry," he says. "Maya, I'm so sorry. If I had known you were alive. It's not your fault," Maya says, but her voice is different now, softer. "You didn't know." A man in an expensive suit pushes through the crowd. "This is David's business partner, Mr. Harrison. David, you need to think about this logically. You can't just cancel your wedding. Think about the contracts, the business deals, your reputation." David looks at Mr. Harrison, then at Victoria, then at all the guests who seem more concerned about the party than the miracle that just happened. "You know what?" he says, and his voice is getting stronger. "I am thinking about my future, and my future includes my sister." He starts taking off his expensive watch, his gold cufflinks, his designer jacket. "David, what are you doing?" Mrs. Richardson asks. "I'm giving these to Maya," he says. "She's been living on the streets for 18 years while I lived like royalty. That ends today. You can't just give away everything." Victoria shouts. "Watch me," David says. He looks at Maya. "We have the same parents. We should have inherited everything together. Half of everything I own belongs to you." Maya stares at the expensive items David is pressing into her hands. These things could change her life completely. She could have a home, food, security, everything she's dreamed of during those cold nights sleeping in doorways, but instead of taking them, she pushes his hands away. "I don't want your money," she says. Everyone stares at her like she's lost her mind. "What?" David asks. "I said I don't want your money. I survived 18 years without it. I don't need it now." Victoria stops crying. Mr. Harrison stops talking. Even Mrs. Richardson looks stunned. Then what do you want? David asks softly. Maya looks at her brother. This man who had everything while she had nothing. This man who's willing to give it all up for her. I want to know if you're a good person, she says. Rich people can be good or evil. Poor people can be good or evil. Money doesn't define your character. Your choices do. What do you mean? Maya points at Victoria. She's your bride. You were about to promise to love her forever, but you're ready to abandon your wedding for someone you haven't seen in 18 years. What does that say about your promises? Victoria's mouth falls open. And you, Maya points at Mr. Harrison, you care more about business deals than about David finding his family. What does that say about your friendship? The man looks embarrassed. And all of you, she says to the crowd, you were ready to have me arrested for taking some food instead of just offering to help a hungry person. What does that say about your hearts? The tent falls completely silent. David stares at his sister, this woman who has nothing but somehow understands everything. You're right, he says. You're absolutely right. He turns to Victoria. I'm sorry, but Maya is right. I was about to make promises to you, but the first time something difficult happened, I forgot about those promises. That's not fair to you. Victoria's face goes white, and Harrison, David continues, if you care more about money than about people, then maybe we shouldn't be partners. Mr. Harrison starts to protest, but David holds up his hand. But most importantly, David says, looking at all his guests, if you think it's acceptable to call the police on someone for taking food when there's enough here to feed an army, then maybe I don't want you at my party anyway. He turns back to Maya. You asked if I'm a good person. I don't know, but I want to be. Will you help me learn how? Maya studies her brother's face. Living on the streets has taught her to read people like books. She can spot liars, predators, and phonies from a mile away. But she can also recognize sincerity when she sees it. Maybe, Maya says softly. But first, you need to make things right. David looks at her with amazement. How did you become so wise when you have nothing? When you have nothing, she replies, you learn what really matters. It's not money or comfort. It's how you treat people, especially when it's difficult. Mrs. Richardson steps forward, tears streaming down her wrinkled cheeks. Maya, I failed you. I should have searched harder when David came to live with me. I believed what they told me about you being dead. I'm so sorry. Maya could be angry. She has every right to be furious at this woman who could have prevented 18 years of suffering. But instead, she takes the old woman's hand. You gave David love and a home. Thank you for that. David watches this exchange and realizes something profound. Maya, I don't want to give you half my money out of guilt. I want to give it to you because you deserve it and because you'll use it better than I ever could. What do you mean? You could help people like you. The hungry, the forgotten, the ones who need hope. Maya feels tears building for the first time in years. You really mean that? More than anything. She looks around at Victoria's softening expression, Mr. Harrison's shame, Mrs. Richardson's hope. Everyone is listening, really listening, for the first time. Okay, Maya says finally. But we do it together, and we start right now. How Maya smiles, a real smile that transforms her entire face. We invite everyone in this city who's hungry to come and eat this wedding food, all of it, for free. David stares at her, then starts to laugh. Not because it's funny, but because it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yes, he says. Let's do exactly that. Victoria steps forward. Her makeup is ruined from crying, but she looks calmer now. David, she says, I'm hurt and confused and I don't understand everything that just happened. But I can see that finding Maya is the most important thing that's ever happened to you. And if she's willing to share this food with hungry people, then maybe I was wrong about what kind of person she is. She turns to Maya. I'm sorry I called you a thief. You weren't wrong, Maya says. I did steal food. But sometimes good people have to do questionable things to survive. And sometimes bad situations lead to beautiful outcomes. David looks at his former bride, Victoria. I'm sorry I hurt you, but Maya is right. I would have been a terrible husband. I wasn't ready to put anyone else first. Maybe someday I will be, but not today. Victoria nods sadly. Maybe you're right. As word spreads through the city, something magical happens. People start arriving. Not just hungry people, but volunteers. People who want to help serve food. People who bring more food from their own kitchens. People who just want to be part of something beautiful. Mrs. Richardson works beside Maya, serving soup to children who remind her of her grandchildren. Victoria helps too, even though she's supposed to be getting married right now. Mr. Harrison uses his business skills to organize everything efficiently. And David works beside his sister, learning what it means to give without expecting anything in return. As the night progresses, Maya watches her brother carefully. She sees how he listens to people's stories, how he remembers their names, how he makes sure the elderly get comfortable chairs and the children get extra dessert. You know, she says to him during a quiet moment, you might actually be a good person after all. Only because I have a good teacher, he replies. They sit together on some steps outside the tent, watching their city come together over food and kindness. Rich and poor, young and old, all working side by side. David, Maya says quietly, can I ask you something? Anything. Are you sad about the wedding? I mean, this was supposed to be the happiest day of your life. David thinks for a long moment. You know what's strange? I should be devastated. This was supposed to be my perfect day. But instead, it really is the perfect day, just not the way I planned it. Why? Because I found you. Because I learned that having everything means nothing if you're not sharing it with the right people. And because he looks at all the people around them. I finally understand what family really means. Maya leans her head against her brother's shoulder. What does it mean? It means you don't abandon people, even when it's hard, even when it costs you everything, even when others don't understand. They sit in comfortable silence, watching the stars appear above the tent that had unexpectedly become a place of reunion and hope. Around them, guests who had come for a wedding were now sharing food, stories, and something far more valuable, genuine human connection. But as the night wears on and the crowd begins to thin, Maya stands up. Where are you going? David asks, concern creeping into his voice. I have somewhere I need to be, she says softly. What? But we just found each other. You can't leave now. Maya smiles, but there's sadness hiding behind her eyes. David, do you trust me? Of course I do. Then trust me when I say I'll see you again soon. Maya, please. Where are you going? She looks at her brother, the man who gave up his wedding, who offered her half of everything he owned, who remembered how to be the kind, protective boy she once knew. I'm going to visit our parents, she says. David freezes. What do you mean? They're gone, Maya. They died 18 years ago. I know, she says. But there's something I need to tell them. Something I need to tell you too, but not yet, Maya. You're scaring me. She reaches into her pocket and pulls out a folded piece of paper. She hands it to him carefully. Don't read this until tomorrow morning, she says. Promise me. I don't understand. Promise me, David. He hesitates, searching her face for answers he can't find. I promise, he says finally. She smiles, kisses his forehead like she used to when they were children, and whispers, thank you for tonight, for remembering who you are, for proving that family matters more than anything. And then she walks away, disappearing into the darkness before David can stop her. The next morning, as sunlight streams through the windows of his penthouse apartment, David sits at his kitchen table and opens the letter with trembling hands. Dear David, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. Not dead, but gone from the life we just rediscovered. I need you to know that last night wasn't an accident. I didn't stumble into your wedding by chance. I've been watching you for months. 3 months ago, I saw you in a coffee shop downtown. You looked so familiar that it made my chest ache. I followed you home, found your name, your birthday, your grandmother's address, and I realized who you were, my brother, alive after all these years. I could have just knocked on your door, but I had to know what kind of man you'd become. Had wealth and privilege changed you? So I watched you, and what I saw broke my heart. You walked past homeless people without seeing them. You threw away food while others went hungry. You treated Victoria like an accessory. You made business deals that crushed smaller companies. You weren't the David I remembered. So I decided to test you. I crashed your wedding and stole food. If you had me arrested, I'd know my brother was truly gone. But you recognized me. You chose me over everything else. And just like that, the brother I loved came back to life. I'm leaving now, not because I don't love you, but because you have work to do. Your relationship with Mrs. Richardson, your business practices, your heart, they all need attention. But David, I'm proud of you. Last night showed me who you really are underneath all that money. Take care of them. Take care of everyone. And maybe someday, when you've become the man I know you can be, we'll see each other again. Your sister, Maya. P.S. Check your business account this morning. I didn't want your money, but I never said I wouldn't take it. Consider it 18 years of missed birthday presents. Use it well. David stares at the letter, then grabs his phone with shaking hands. Mr. Chen, his banker says, yes, there was a large withdrawal last night using your private authorization codes. How much? David asks, though he's almost afraid to hear the answer. $2 million, sir. David hangs up and starts laughing, then crying, then laughing again. Maya had robbed him after all, but sitting in his luxury apartment, he feels richer than he's ever felt in his life, because now he understands that the best things in life can't be stolen, they have to be given freely. And somewhere out there, Maya is giving one act of kindness, one helping hand, one moment of defiant love at a time. What haunts David, what will shape every decision he makes for the rest of his life, is one simple question. When will he see her again? And more importantly, when he does, will he be worthy of being her brother? This story doesn't end here though. David's journey to become the man Maya believes he can be is just beginning. And Maya, she's out there somewhere, using that stolen fortune to change lives in ways that would make you believe in miracles again. So here's my question for you. Do you think David will prove himself worthy of his sister's love? Do you believe Maya's stolen fortune can really transform an entire city? And most importantly, do you want to know what happens when these siblings meet again? If this story moved you, if it made you think about your own family, your own choices, your own chances to do better, then hit that like button and let me know in the comments. Should we continue following David and Maya's journey? Your support determines whether their story continues, and trust me, what happens next will blow your mind even more than what you just heard. Because sometimes the most beautiful stories come from the most unexpected places. Sometimes a wedding crasher becomes a life changer. And sometimes, just sometimes, losing everything is exactly what you need to find what truly matters.